Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I've got Shashwat with me. He has got a winter break, so he's got a few days off. So I'm capitalizing on his time and asking him to have a conversation with us because he always has something interesting on his mind as he's reading the news and he finds something which we investors, especially new investors, should definitely be keeping an eye on. And one of those is an American shoe company, which we have spoken about in the past, which I thought deserves more attention because of all the news it's been making. Is it something of a turnaround which is going to come, or is it something we should be worried about and not touch it? Is what I was wondering, and I thought Shashwat could answer this for us without wasting much time. Shashwat, why don't you lay out what's happening?
Yeah. So the first thing which I want to mention to read viewers is that we're going to post an article on Nike, which is going to be detailed analysis on our Substack. So keep on the lookout for that. Should be on the Substack portal by the end of this week. But apart from that, I think it's worth talking a bit about what's going on with Nike and basically what we should be looking at as investors. So the first thing which we need to understand about Nike is that it's definitely going through a tough time. It's not been easy. There's a lot of turmoil that is attached to what Nike is going through. And it recently replaced its CEO. Previously had this person known as Donahue, and now they have the new CEO called Elliot Hill. He's the replacement of Donahoe, and he basically has tried to go back on some of the things which the previous CEO had proposed. So one of the things the previous CEO had done was they tried to push Nike into an online web retailer by cutting out a lot of their partnerships with retail giants for footwear like Foot Locker and other mass retail outlets which they had previously been in partnership with. And another important downgrade, or rather a downward pressure on Nike's profits has been due to, as we said in the previous video covering Nike, the Chinese market is a huge market for Nike. I think it's the second biggest market after the North America, that is Canada, the United States of America, and Mexico combined. So if you isolate North America, the next biggest market comes from China, India, these places. So China has been having a tough time. So Nike's revenues have also been having a tough time because of what they have been going through with China. The third main issue which we have to look at is that Nike is facing a lot of competition from other brands which are trying to capture the young mind, and it's also trying to capture the athletics scene which Nike has always dominated. So it's facing a lot of competition from up and coming brands like Hoka, and it also has, previous footwear giants like Adidas and Reebok, which it was already competing with, which it's still facing pressures from, and Puma as well. So these are some of the other competitive pressures which Nike is facing. And finally, a big factor into which, according to the CEO, like Nike is facing, is that it's been giving out a lot of discounts and promotional offers, which has been taking a slice of the pie away from their profits. And this is something which the CEO, Elliot Hill, wants to probably tackle very soon. And there needs to be some sort of innovation and some sort of new product line, or a reversal to what Nike used to do very well, which was coming up with the most cutting edge technology. I think the world's lightest shoe, which runners have tested thus far, still belongs to Nike, if I'm not wrong. And I think Eliud Kipchoge wore Nike shoes in his run when he beat the sub 2 hour marathon timing. So I think Nike is still a premier company, and I still think Nike is going to be at the cutting edge of innovation. It may have lost some of what it used to do very well in the middle, but I'm hoping that it makes a good recovery in the future. What do you think about Nike?
Well, I agree. There's an old saying, when something is going good, don't disturb it, And Nike seems to have made that mistake. You need to, rethink the game. You need to, shake it up as they do in IT and cause disturbance and be innovative when there's a reason to. When your ship is sailing smooth and you're chugging along and you're spewing cash and things are great, there's no reason to be a disruptor in the market. Disruption is only required the way they did it way back in 1980s when they signed Michael Jordan on. That time, Adidas was ruling the roost with Converse in basketball. Nike was nowhere. And Jordan actually reached out to Adidas and said, "Hey, I'd like to sign with you guys." And Adidas didn't see any future in basketball and passed him. Then Nike and Jordan signed, and we know its history. There's even a movie about it, which you can see. But Nike was that. It was a disruptive force and it entered. But then what happened unnecessary was the CEO suddenly decided, you know what, everyone's only going to buy it online. No one is going to buy shoes anymore going retail. Then the pandemic happened, which kind of reinforced that bias. When the pandemic ended, then the truth came out that it wasn't so. People still like going to the store and buying. And Nike burnt its bridges with its distributors and huge stockists of their shoes, like Foot Locker, which led to a problem. And they had also lost the edge in innovation because he was so busy and so focused on app and app development. They were laying people off in every other department by the droves, trying to be lean and cut costs. So it became a very not so great company to work for Nike, and it led to a downward spiral, which is what's landed them now. Now, this is the same thing which happened to Microsoft when Steve Ballmer took over in year 2000. Then Nadella came in 2019 or 2018, he came, and all that changed slowly, and Microsoft pivoted, and Microsoft is reinvigorated, and Microsoft capitalization has gone through the roof again. But there was a time when, under Steve Ballmer, everyone thought Microsoft is dead and gone. So the same kind of a inflection point is where Nike is at. So my question is, can they turn this around? Maybe. But I'm like Shashwath, a loyalist to Nike. So I have a strong bias towards Nike because it's a brand I grew up in, it's a brand I love, and I do believe they can turn it around. There are people who are on the fence. There are people who are naysayers who are saying it's too late. But I don't think they are because they're such a huge and strong brand. It is going to take time.
Yeah, I just want to put it out there that, like, what happened with Intel, it's quite possible that, there's something that really goes wrong and they have a series of really terrible years where bad luck kicks in, and some of that brand dominance which they built over decades comes undone. It's possible. Intel was the chip maker, and we saw that even giants can, fall. So this video is not, trying to say that it's not possible that Nike becomes a minor player or not even a player in the sneaker industry anymore. It's quite possible anything can happen, but being Nike loyalists and seeing that this is traditionally a very valuable company in the sense that they have a lot of marketing prowess. It's if you look at any sort of sneaker or athletic wear or athleisure wear company which has marketed in the past and been iconic, you'd probably think of Nike. And when you think about the gold standard of sneakers, the only sneaker that comes to my mind is Nike. And I say this with a pair of Nike sneakers which are sitting there by my door, and Nike running shoes as well sitting there by my door. So, so yeah. So I may be wearing a Puma t-shirt, but my heart lies with Nike.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so yeah.
I know we sound like fanboys, but we do want to be even keel. So, what is the worst thing that can happen? Well, the worst thing that can happen, at least in the short term, is it's going to take them a very long time to flush out stock. What's happened is, since they have not had great sales, there's a huge stockpile of inventory sitting of Nike shoes. And these shoes will have to be sold at a discount, and they have to get rid of this stock. Because the problem is, this shoe which is sitting in stock, nobody wants it. The customers don't want it. The retailers don't want to stock it. So Nike's got a lot of cash stuck in stock, which they need to get rid of in the short term. And the next thing, which is a big problem, which we'll have to wait and watch, is what is the next innovation? Like the Air Jordans, the Air Max, like Shashwat said, those light running shoes. Everybody else, like Hoka, everyone's come out with like shoes which look like socks. They're so light. They're runner friendly. They have all kinds of new technology and things baked into it. So what is the next thing the Nike lab is going to do? Which is what Elliot has gone back to the R&D of Nike and said, boss, you guys have been working on this for some time. Well, we are lost our way. You guys, I'm sure, have some ideas which nobody heard. This last CEO didn't want to hear it. I'm here. I'm ready to listen to you. What do you have in your arsenal which I can quickly turn around and throw in the market for a quick win? So that is what we have to wait and watch. Can he pull something out of their R&D lab which is going to capture the imagination of the public? Because the Olympics is over, the next big sports thing that's coming is the football World Cup, I think. So that said, all the tennis tournaments. And Nike has always been on the runners, like Shashwat said, in the runners market. They've lost some edge there thanks to them snapping and sleeping. Their competitions like Essex and Hoka and everybody has stepped in and they've captured some of the attention. But in the US, running is predominantly a very popular activity, not only as a sport. A lot of people do running there as something to stay fit and to stay, active.
The iconic
So
Boston Marathon is also something
correct.
which, yeah,
So we have to wait and watch this year, month after month, to see how they're progressing in terms of sales, in terms of what is happening in terms of innovation. Share price isn't going to move anywhere. I don't think it's going to go anywhere because earnings are not there. But this is what, as investors, you have to do is you have to keep an eye on it. More than being me and Shashwat being fanboys, you have to watch end of the day the numbers, month after month sales reports, and see how the numbers are doing and what they're coming out in terms of innovation. And read all the news you can about Nike as you keep sipping on the stock. I'm not saying you should go drop a lot of money on it. You should only sip on this Nike stock because as Indian investors sitting in India and investing, any slight movement we see in the price, we have to multiply it by Indian rupees and we feel the hurt even more. So my advice would be to stick to sipping on it and not to venture out more than that and to be even keel, though you can be loyalist to the brand like me and Shashwata.
yeah. And just to put it out there, it's quite possible that, something happens where Nike goes even further down south because something new has come out by a competitor and their sales suffers. And all I want to say is this video is not investment advice. And this is basically us discussing. A write-up will be available on our Substack very soon on. This is an idea which we've been having, and we thought we'd share it out. We get nothing from this. We gain nothing if you buy it, if you short it, if you ignore it. It's all the same to us. But to us as Nike fanboys, as he said, it's going to be amazing to see Nike come back into the running foray. And I do trust that Nike is going to do something good in the upcoming
Yeah.
future.
Yeah. And this is the same news I feel about Intel. Intel has been not having good news after good news. It's been missing. Recently, the Arc chip has come out from them, their AI chip, which is cheaper than NVIDIA's chip and is so-called performing better than NVIDIA in their internal benchmarks and is being sold out, which is heartening. We'll have to wait for this chip to become more available and third-party people to benchmark this and see if it really holds up to scratch and sniff. And if it does, it gives Intel a very good chance to crawl out of the hole it's got itself under. Of course, Intel is not manufacturing it. TSMC is manufacturing it, but it is designed by Intel and is owned by Intel. So Intel should make profits in this and should see better days ahead if this turns out to be something of a gold mine for them. So same thing is true in Intel. We are fanboys of Intel. So we are happy as fanboys to see some good news there. Anything else you want to add in, Shashwat?
Yeah, one thing is that the this is, I mean, maybe not so relevant, but Nike has also seen the activist investor Bill Ackman buy a sizable position in the company right around the time when the previous CEO was axed. So we don't know whether CEO was axed because of Bill Ackman or he got into Nike because the CEO was going to be axed. But regardless of what the case is, he's inside the company in terms of shareholding. And I'm saying that it's not so relevant because our investment decisions should not be predicated on what others are doing. But I thought that this is seen as like a very significant point, which I think our viewers would appreciate to know. So I just want to put it out there that this is also happening.
True. So there you go. I hope this is something for you guys to digest over the dinner. And me and Shashwat will come back tomorrow with another video where you have another macroeconomic topic, I think, not about a specific stock. And we do hope you enjoyed this video today. If you did like it, do like and subscribe to it and share it with friends and family who would find this kind of content interesting. Other than that, nothing more to say. Have a wonderful evening and thank you for watching the video today.
Thank you. Hey guys, that my uncles Vinod Srinivasan, Anand Srinivasan and I have rolled out our Substack, which is basically a blog / newsletter where we're going to post our original research onto it. And we've analyzed macroeconomic trends. And a lot of you know my uncle Anand Srinivasan and I regularly write for The Hindu. And these articles are also going to be made available for you in the Substack. The link is moatinvesting.substack.com. You'll find it in the description and in the video right now. We hope you go check it out. We've put a lot of time and effort into it. And please give us comments and feedback on what you read. Thank you.